Alright, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a lace front wig for this hot girl summer that I've so far not participated in. These are the things you'll be needing: some BW2 powder, some kind of crayon, some sewing stuff. I'll list everything down below just in case, because I don't think I can list it all, but yeah. Then this is the hair that I'm using. I got it from, I think, Hermosa hair. I don't know how to say it properly. I got an 18-inch frontal, a 20, 22 and 24 bundle. So I got 3 bundles and a frontal. And at first I was looking at this frontal and I was just like, what is this gonna cover? But when I opened it and started making up the wig, it actually worked. It looked thin at first, I don't know why, but it was actually ended up being a little bit too thick. I'm still filming the rest of the wig video while like editing this, but yeah, ended up being kind of a little bit too thick in the back where you sew the frontal to the wig cap, but it's fine. I use an extra large wig head because I'm a bald big head. You know, I have a big head. I have a big forehead, I have a big head, and I have a lot of hair under my head. So yeah, this is me prepping my what is this called? It's not a wig cap, it's a dome head. I don't know. I got a mesh dome cap in extra large. I got all these supplies from my beauty supply store and they were surprisingly so cheap. So now I'm mixing my BW2 powder. I always use these small sachets and I end up wasting the bleach. So like, I don't know, I thought it was, since it was a frontal, I was gonna use the whole thing. Last time I made a closure, I tried to like mix the whole thing. I never used it all up, so that was a waste of resources. But hey, I'm not complaining. I really don't care. It wasn't that expensive, and the bleach like bottle of 30 developer, I don't know if I'll ever run out of the developer because it's so much, and I've had the same one for like over a year now. So yeah, I just mix it and I add periodically to see like how much I need, because you don't want it to seep through your frontal when you like apply it on top of the mesh. So yeah, I just mix until I'm satisfied with the consistency, and I go back in and add what's that thing called, purple shampoo, just to make sure there's no brassiness, because I had that issue when I made a closure initially. But you can always fix brassiness with foundation, and that was me showing you the frontal. When you apply your frontal, it shouldn't be flat. Yeah, I watched a whole bunch of wig videos and everyone said the same thing. Make sure you let it lay the way it is and try to pin it down that way. The front of the frontal that faces you, basically, it shouldn't be laid down flat. It should almost have like kind of spacing, you know what I mean? Because when you put it on your head, it's gonna fit right, but it feels wrong when you're making the wig. It all works out. So basically I thread 3 needles. I use the curved needles. I got them, I think, either Amazon or eBay, I don't know. I'll link it down below if I can find it. But you can also use like a regular sewing needle. It's not that special. Kind of like, I feel like the sewing needle would be easier because the curve kind of gets tangled in the hair when you're sewing it. But use whatever you have. You don't have to use the specific things everyone else uses. I just bought these because I thought you needed them and you really don't. So when I sew down my frontal, everyone has said, like on the professional like wig making videos, they always say start from the middle and do one side and go back in and do the other side. So I start from the middle and I do the left side, and I'm proud of how this came out because it was so flat, and the stitches I made while sewing, they all were like symmetrical, and the spacing between each stitch was so symmetrical. But you're gonna see throughout this video, like I start to struggle when it gets to like adding the bundles, because the angle I was filming at, the space I'm filming from, is so small. Like I try to fit my tripod and my lighting and my tripod that's holding up the wig and the dome head, and it was just so complicated. So the majority of sewing on the bundles, you're not gonna see it in this video. Maybe in another video if I can find a better space to film, because I couldn't reach and I didn't want to mess up the wig just to film, and filming already was making it take too long. So yeah, that's what I decided to do. This is how the layout is. You don't really need the lines, but they're helpful. So I used a NYX white crayon pencil and I just like kind of drew these lines. They look messy. I go back in and try to fix them later, but I already know how I want my tracks to lay, so it's not really that hard. To be honest, there's probably 1,000,001 designs of how you can, you know, lay your tracks under before the frontal or closure. Like, there's so many ways to lay it flat. I'm doing the fold over method because cutting it, one, it wastes tracks, and two, it's like I don't want to deal with the shedding. So I basically, like, once I get to one end, I flip it over and I separate the tracks, because I did the double, is it double band method, the double track method. But once I get to the, like, close to the end or the edge of each line, I take them apart and I sew on one, and then I flip it over up to the next line and I sew both of them together where they meet, so it looks like a smooth transition. And I'm gonna link a video down below that showed me how to do this, because the lady that did it so well, and I understood everything she said. It wasn't even complicated. That's how I learned how to do this, and she does a better job at explaining. Now, this is what happens when you come to the end of a track. I basically, sorry for the lighting change, the whole thing was a mess, but yeah. So I basically sew, after I do the flip over method and all that, when I get to the end of a track, I stick the needle through the actual track band, the band that's holding the hairs together, so to make sure it doesn't fall down, because if you don't do that, sometimes the hair falls through and then it leaves like a track sticking out. It's not cute. So yeah. And again, you're gonna see me struggle because the angle, I was standing on the, like, literally on the other side of the camera, and I couldn't reach over and properly show you everything, so it looks kind of bad. But majority of the time I took the wig off, the wig, the dome wig, what is it called, I'm having a problem, the dome head, the wig head, whatever. I took that off the tripod and I just did it on my lap because it was way easier and it made my stitching look really good. So yeah. And then I start with another bundle. When I start a bundle or end a bundle, it doesn't matter, I stick the needle through the tracks. And since I'm using two bundles at the same time, I stick the needle through both ends and then I start sewing. It kind of looks like there's a space there, but don't worry, it's fine, the other tracks will cover it up. So yeah, I loop through and then I loop into the loop. Again, I'm gonna link the videos that have helped me, you know, learn how to be an amateur wig maker. Yeah, it's not that complicated. A lot of times people make it out to be like really hard. I understand like plucking and like matching the lace and melting, that may be like a lot harder, but honestly making a wig is not even that difficult. You just have to figure out what works for you. And you know, since I'm a big head, you know, most wigs fit smaller than me, which is what leads me to like make my own wigs in the first place. Alright guys, so I continue to add tracks and just make the wig. All you have to do is follow the lines. It really isn't that hard. If this is like your first time making a wig, it's like the lines, literally, I've never used these like lines before. And sis, that was so simple. I should have probably done that when I first started making wigs. And this just eliminates, like, even though the lines look squiggly, it kind of helps you keep everything uniform and kind of makes the wig lay a lot flatter, and it just makes the job like so much easier. So all I do is follow the lines. If I end up at the end of a tract, I add a new tract and I just keep, you know, filling up the wig cap until I get to the top near the lace. Now I'm just showing you when I get like down to the last couple of tracks that I have to put in to fill up the wig. So I basically added two more tracks, and then I added one and I sewed it onto the lace. I'm sorry I didn't share that. And I have this little bit of hair left. I always have hair left. I don't know how. I never ever use all my bundles. Then I flip the wig over, take it off the wig cap, and I cut off the part that's under the lace. Be careful with this, because I was trying to show y'all, but at the same time I was kind of scared that I would have cut where I, you know, this like sewing I did, but whatever, it was fine, nothing happened. So I just cut off that band and that mesh, that part of the dome cap, and it all worked out. Then after this, I basically just spritzed some of my DIY, what's it called, lace tint. I can show you guys if you want how to make it. Yeah, just do that, and that's it for this part of the video. I'm sorry guys that I'm gonna have to make this 2 parts because the video is gonna be too long, and I feel like it's just, I don't like videos that are way too lengthy. So I'm gonna make a part 2, and don't worry, I'm gonna install it and show you guys how I attempt to do my first lace frontal wig. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.